This video is going to be the first of hopefully many that I complete in the off season, especially in the downtime that we have between Ravens mini camp and then the official beginning of training camp in July. It'll basically be looking at positional play in the NFL. I'm not sure how far or how many positions I'll get to as people watch the videos. If they like them and enjoy them, you're certainly welcome to provide me some insight or feedback. Tell me where you'd like me to go in terms of positions. This first one is going to be the one that I generally have the most familiarity with as far as from a coaching technical standpoint. I'll be looking at inside linebacker play, primarily run reads. I expect this one to be 8 or 10 minutes in length. What my goal is to just highlight some inside linebacker play, break down some of the plays, some of the reads that are there, and some of the things I think that teams are doing in certain situations on defense. This first one is going to be the Steelers, and it's going to be talking about a guy who is very underrated, if you ask me, Robert Spillane. He's going to go downhill on this run read and get a solo tackle for loss, or get credited with a tackle for loss. Chris Wormley is there to assist on a direct run action where there's multiple things going on that the Steelers do, I think, to help clear things up for their inside linebackers, so for their defense in general. One of the things that they do that I contend they have always done is when someone goes in motion and the strong safety is to that side where he's originating from, so I'm calling this guy the strong safety here, one of the things they will often do is walk him into the box and they'll blitz him, into like an open B gap. They do that against the Ravens a lot. That is not, however, what they do on this play. What they end up doing is taking this D tackle, who you can see is in a 4-eye, and kind of trying to slam him through on this B gap. And what they're doing is they're getting zoned to that side. So he's not actually ended up in the B gap. He's actually ended up in the A gap, in between the guard and the center. And what ends up happening is it clears open this B gap for Spillane and the strong safety. So they've kind of got two guys for one gap, and that's not typically the design of it. I'm not sure that they were expecting run back toward the side where the motion guy came from. But the Steelers have multiple options built into their defense and multiple things they do like this in terms of either bringing a strong safety through an open gap or stemming someone down. I'm not sure that, I think it's Cameron Hayward, was intending on ending up in the A gap. He didn't know that the guard was going to step to him. But in any case, Spillane fills downhill. Like I said, underrated football player, if you ask me. A guy who is hard-nosed, and when he's gotten the opportunity in the NFL, has been able to make some plays. Second play we're going to look at is going to be a little different. Still a downhill run action play. This is the Patriots against the Saints early in 2021. Demario Davis, I believe, taking on a lead blocker in the backfield. So he's getting a fullback at him, as opposed to that play where you just saw Spillane. There was no lead blocker coming at him. The difference in this play is he wrong arms it. So what I mean by wrong arms is you see his right shoulder is impacting the right shoulder of the fullback, as opposed to the way Spillane attacked it, which, again, he didn't get a lead fullback on him. Spillane was attacking it from an outside-in angle, which would be, setting it inside is what we would call it in our system. This is a wrong arm, which is designed to make the play bounce outside of you, essentially giving yourself up to allow recovering, safeties or corners or outside linebackers to make the tackle when the football bounces outside. All right, this next one is from another linebacker that I would consider underrated, similar to Spillane, except he's a little bit older and more experienced. Josh Bynes, who, of course, was on the Super Bowl team for the Ravens back in 2012. It's going to be a play, actually a couple of plays against the Chargers from Week 6 in 2021. He identifies that the H-back, or the tight end who motions back into the backfield, could possibly be used as a lead blocker on this, I would call, split zone technique. You can see his eyes looking at the H-back or the tight end right now. Now, you do have a sixth offensive lineman and another tight end. So this is certainly a heavy personnel grouping from the Chargers in terms of having two tight ends and 6 offensive linemen on the field. You can see the split of the blocking scheme, that you do get the zone here by all of these guys working to the left. And then you get the tight end who's kind of base blocking the D end or the outside linebacker on the defense's left or right, which is Tyus Bowser. The tight end's trying to insert inside that open space. And Josh Bynes fits it perfectly on the inside shoulder of that H-back tight end. Now, Calais Campbell is disrupting it as well, but that doesn't take away that this is a fantastic read by Josh Bynes. It's like he's one of those savants that always knows where to fit. You even look at his first steps here. His first steps are kind of opposite of the first steps of the running back. The running back's first steps are here. The O-line is working, I think, is working this way to the defense's right, our left on the screen. But Josh Bynes' first steps were opposite that. He knew where the play was going, probably film study, and just understanding that when the Chargers have an unbalanced side, meaning a third offensive lineman and a tight end, that's where they're going to go with the football. Tennessee versus the 49ers. 49ers are in 21 personnel, so they got 2 backs and 1 tight end. Quick little fit here. The fullback is doing something interesting that the 49ers and other teams try to do. He's not executing it really well, if you ask me. He's going to go opposite and then come back and try to cut someone, presumably an edge player, along the side. And 90 makes a great play. This guy right here, he's the guy that Huschek, is going to try to cut block. But watch the linebackers fit, man. 54. I'll try to slow this down. Sometimes when I play this slow, it gets kind of choppy, so forgive me. So 54, trying to figure out where to fit. And he's right there in the hole that the running back's going to find. Every time that a linebacker is trying to determine where to fit, they don't always find the right spots. There's certain guys who just have a knack at it, and certain guys who don't. This is going to be an interesting play. The Steelers, it's a very multiple defense. I know they're going to have a new coordinator this year, but one of the things they do occasionally with motion is they'll run an inside linebacker out to cover the guy in motion, and the Raiders were able to take advantage of this later on in the game. This is from week 2, I believe, in 2021, maybe week 3. But they're walking out one of their inside linebackers, Joe Schobert. He's chasing Darren Waller on this wheel route. Now, this is actually a pass play. I have it listed as a run read because of what Robert Spillane does here. Look at the collision between him and Kenyon Drake. Let you watch it live speed all the way through. You have to be willing to take people on. I think Spillane knows that it's not a run play at the point when he's attacking. I think he's just trying to wipe out Kenyon Drake in terms of taking him out of the ability to run a route. A huge collision. I'm not saying that Spillane gets the better of it. I'm just saying that he understands. Inside linebackers, to me, the good ones, the great ones, are somewhat selfish and unselfish at the same time. If you're a good to not great one, I think you're trending a little bit more towards being unselfish, a little bit more towards willing to give yourself up for the team, like Spillane is here, because he's taking a shot, trying to keep Drake from getting out in the route. Underrated position in the NFL, underappreciated but not undervalued. If you're one of those people who says it's undervalued, you can say that about salary cap structure if you wish. You cannot say that about importance of play along the defense. If you do, you're just an uninformed football fan. Josh Bynes, again, against the Chargers, taking a great angle on this toss play to the defense's right, the offense's left. There are certain guys who are just intuitive and take great angles on every run play, and Josh Bynes, Robert Spillane, and Demario Davis, if you ask me, are 3 of those guys. There are certainly other linebackers that I could have highlighted. David Long from the Tennessee Titans. I think the Bengals inside linebackers are tremendously underrated, and I'm going to show at least one play from them later. Here's Spillane again, and this one's weird. He backpedals on this draw play. You're not supposed to be backpedaling at an inside linebacker for real. Even on the snap, he's given ground. That's not something that you're really looking for out of the inside linebacker position. This might be a down and distance thing. I'm not sure exactly what down and distance we have here. I don't think we get it on the sideline angle nor the end zone angle. But it's a beautiful play because it looks like Kenyon Drake is going to be able to get back out in space. The safety is there to try to help be a force player, but he's got the wrong leverage side. He's on Drake's inside hip, and he should be on his outside hip, forcing him back into Robert Spillane. There's a little DB right there taking on a lineman. And this safety 20, or this DB 20, should be on the outside shoulder, forcing that running back to fit it back in towards Spillane. Spillane is able to make the play anyway. Beautiful football. Inside linebacker is an underappreciated position at the NFL level, but not in other positions of football. It's widely recognized as a place where the best football players play because you have to be able to play downhill You have to be able to play backwards against the pass, and you have to be able to tackle the other team's best running back. In this play, you've got 55 going against Derrick Henry, and Henry has got this little split action, counter step, and then following, I call this F counter, where the guard is pulling and the F, or I call it the H back, whatever you want to call it, is also pulling. And look at the fit. He's here in the open gap, theoretically open gap. I know you have a Bengals helmet, 2 Bengals helmets in this gap. Henry's bringing it all the way back to the other side, and 55 is able to play it. Of course, I think it probably is like a 5 or 6 yard gain. Point is, nobody else is stopping the run play right now. Nobody else is there to stop Derrick Henry. The Titans did a nice job back on this backside, sealing things off. I love the inside linebacker position, to be honest with you. I'm considering during the season doing videos like this every week, highlighting inside linebacker play that maybe didn't get talked about for whatever reason. Let me know what you guys think of that idea. It would be, AFC North centered, because I'm going to watch all of those games every week, clearly. Those would be the first games that I do watch. But it would be something that I would try to do to highlight guys who maybe don't get the attention that they deserve in some sense. Running back's going to cross Herbert's face, and when you get the end zone angle, you'll see this is a special play. Bynes has got a huge gap to defend here. Look at the gap that's opening up. And what he does with his right arm is unique. It's not something that I've seen a whole lot of. I haven't seen a whole lot of people do what Josh Bynes does on this play. Look at the gap that is created. I think the Ravens are in their nickel look, and they're dropping back Justin Houston off the line, presumably for pass. And there's a big gap for Bynes to defend. Not only is he sitting in this gap, he's also taking his right arm and pushing an offensive lineman in, for basically framing him up, and then getting involved in the tackle. I think it's a beautiful play. Hopefully I've presented you with some cool football plays today, and to just try to highlight some of the things that inside linebackers do and provide a little insight into the things they have to be aware of when they're reading the run, when they're reacting, and when they're trying to deal with offensive linemen, fullbacks, and tight ends in their face and trying to shed them and then make a tackle. Let me know if you think this will be an interesting series or an interesting idea for videos, particularly in the offseason. But again, I'm going to try to do one per week for defensive positions in the NFL. Once the season gets rolling, I will do a follow-up video maybe Monday night or Tuesday night to highlight pass coverage and pass coverage skills by some of these same linebackers. That would technically be considered part 2. If you haven't subscribed to the channel and you enjoy the content, please do so now. And let me know in the comment section what you think of this video series idea.